Hey, Mr. Brooks.
I was just about to crank up my music. Do I have my...
Just to rock the rock?
Yeah, hold on.
Remember that really bad song by The Rock?
I never actually heard it, but Will ironically raps it to me. He knows it. He knows it's a joke.
Yeah, it is. It's worse than a joke.
Can we play that into the stream? We should.
It's about power, or whatever it.
Yeah,
I drive. It's about power.
That's all I know. Yeah, but Will will do it, and then he laughs man, that's a dumb song.
Yeah, right. When a kid is making fun of it, then.
But I suppose he's probably only ever seen it in the context of being a joke, right? Yeah. He never. I'd be surprised if he ever saw
is it supposed to not be a joke? Was it supposed to be
Nothing
serious?
with The Rock is a joke.
I'm not sure.
Right? I don't think
he's capable of joking.
He's not quite as...
That is true.
Tone deaf. He's not quite as comedy deaf as, say, Vin Diesel. But he definitely... All of his projects are serious, I think.
We could talk about it in the movie, but there's a picture of him smiling with the family, and it just looks so weird because I've never seen him smile like that.
Yeah, the pictures are very photoshopped. Okay, I can't. Well, they had a good run.
No, but what I was saying was they played it, then they played it 3 weeks in a row, and then he came on the podcast and was like, "This is the best deck builder there is."
I'm sure it's best deck builder. It's just very long.
Thunderstone Quest.
Yeah.
And now I have 27 pounds of Thunderstone Quest. I put it all in one box finally.
True. We weighed it.
And Emily weighed it. It's because it's got to be 800 cards. It's
insane.
So many.
Oh.
It's giant, but whoa.
Figure out. Well. Whoa.
Drink onto the computer. Things start sparking.
No, I just feel super washed out. You guys have really good lighting.
Ken, are you familiar with the Tangerine Space Machine beer from New Holland?
I've had it once or twice, yeah.
So they released a beer called Super Space Machine, and it's a double IPA. That's the same thing, but it's like a 9%. It's like I'm drinking syrup.
Yeah, that's the problem.
It's thick,
Yeah.
man.
Uh-oh.
This music, are you gonna be able to fade it out?
I can never do that
You
well.
can try it.
Even last time I thought I did a good job, I listened back. It's just like it's
Like,
on and then it's off.
Just cuts off, yeah. You almost
Whatever.
need some sort of... You need like a preset. Oh, it's like a 12-second fade out. and
I
then
know
it
it-
always does.
Don't get
I know
him
exactly
started.
what
Sorry.
I want. I
Sorry.
just, I get.
I can imagine. I get it.
Emily wants the, like the I think it's a Shure 57B microphone, the
I just
classic
want
like
a microphone.
dome on top of a microphone that you hold.
I just
you
wanna
know, it's like
hold a
100 bucks,
microphone,
150
that's it.
bucks for it.
I just want
The
to buy
Bob
like an
Barker
armchair,
one was
and
always...
I can always be throwing out the line. I just want an armchair, and
We
I
should
can
do
hold
that.
it because
All
I
right.
just want to hang
We're
out
gonna
more.
actually do
I
it.
It's
should
gonna
do a
soon be like a
chair.
late night show.
Yeah, that would be great.
Just because I want to be comfy.
Uh-oh, what happened?
Well, we could get
There we
like
go.
a shotgun mic, and then we're just sitting in chairs. That wouldn't sound like a podcast then.
No, we're not.
All right, let's get this show on the road.
Ooh, hey. Is it the camera that's auto
Might be because I
correcting?
feel like you look fine.
I feel like it's super blue.
It is a little bit, but well, yep, right there. But we're also like extra yellow from our weird lights.
From your weird
How do I
skin.
make Ken the big one? Oh, there
There
I
you
go.
go. Right there. You have to do the whole thing like that.
Hold on.
Like you're on X Files.
Wait. I'm gonna break this lamp.
Well, there's like
kinda.
things flinging around.
Yeah, there's like a Quinn
Oh, okay.
thing on
Stuff
it.
flying everywhere. Hey, Jeff, the Mad Board Gamer. Well, thanks for the
Yo.
birthday wishes, Jeff. I really appreciate it.
JMB.
It's exactly
yeah,
how I want to
happy
be spending my
birthday.
birthday. Trapped with these guys on a stream.
Although you could have had a worse movie on your birthday. That's for sure.
Yeah.
That's for sure. One of the better.
Well,
This
this was
definitely-
more just a to compare disaster movies than this being a
Yes.
bad disaster movie.
I think if we hadn't seen 2012 before,
Yeah.
I don't know how I would have felt about this movie. Now it's like, man, this is okay.
Yeah, I was like, it's not that bad.
Compared
Like,
to
I don't.
2012, oh.
If we watch 2012 now, though, I'd be like, what are they doing
Yeah.
the whole
Yeah.
time?
Let's get the show on the road here.
All
All
right.
right, Ben, you want to introduce
Hello
it?
and welcome to another Date Night D-List episode. This time we are covering and reviewing and talking about the 2015 movie San Andreas, starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. And so let's get to it. This movie was, well, we'll talk about it. Not so bad.
It's fine. It's
It was
fine.
fine.
It's good.
That's
was
if this
okay.
is if disaster stuff is your thing, this is okay.
This is all right.
Yeah,
It's
it wasn't
okay.
like it wasn't a bad disaster movie, considering other disaster movies.
Look at we got a bunch of comments already. Quinn
Oh,
gives
no
me
way.
some happy birthday wishes.
Oh,
Thanks.
wow.
I really appreciate that, Quinn. We got who is this? I can't see because my font is too tiny. But
Puma
they
Peter.
say I like. Let me put it big. I like the
Yeah.
helicopter autopilot rescue, and we will get to that.
Oh,
but
yeah.
that was pretty
Trying to
cool.
remember that autopilot helicopter.
It's like the first one. Well, no, it's when his wife.
It's when he's saving the wife. He's
Yeah.
got to put it on
or,
autopilot.
or the ex.
This is another one.
They're not divorced yet.
That's you know. I didn't even think about that. You're right. But this one, a bit like, what was the last one we watched? Poseidon. There are moments in this one that have a lot of like, wow, somebody read the Wikipedia page on like how to fly a helicopter and helicopter
Yeah.
maneuvers. And I don't know. We'll get into it, but
What was it
Yeah.
called when they dive under the cliff? We're
tip the
gonna
hat.
Don't worry.
He tipped
tip
the hat.
hat.
I was gonna say I have it written down.
Oh my
so-
gosh! I'm gonna have to get my notebook.
They do multiple
like that,
like, whoa, these are like, and I'm tip the hat is the most absurd one, but then after that it's kind of like, I think that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, it
That
was
you
pretty
would do
normal
that.
after that. There was
Yeah.
no crazy, like, we're going to fly upside down through a building or something.
It's called
like,
it's called the Big Mac, and we actually put, we put rotor to rotor
We're gonna-
two
Right.
helicopters. and
2
we go through
helicopters together, so you can fly
Right.
twice as fast,
It was
actually.
pretty
Right.
like if a disaster happened and The Rock had to save his family, I can just see him doing all this. I feel
Yep. It's pretty
is
tame.
what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, for anybody new to the show, the D list is where we watch blockbuster bombs, so you don't have to, and we'll tell you all about it, and we'll hopefully be more entertaining than the movie was. So with this one, that might be a challenge.
Yeah,
I don't
there's some
know.
parts, but
This is pretty average. This is
Yeah, it's
okay
okay.
across the board.
yeah,
So hopefully we can
but
roast it enough. to
So
make
what
this worth your
is San
time.
Andreas about? Well, let's see here. From IMDb, it says, in the aftermath of a massive earthquake in California, a rescue chopper pilot makes a dangerous journey with his ex-wife across the state in order to rescue his daughter.
Yep.
Pretty accurate.
yeah, that's
That's
it.
exactly
it.
what happens.
That's it.
I did
Show's
like
over.
that they were just like the main thing was just getting the daughter, and it wasn't.
Let's save the world.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
like,
thought that's what it was gonna be.
How
I
do
did
we-
like that, actually.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
it didn't become, how do we stop 9.6 magnitude earthquakes?
We're not gonna.
I don't know. You don't? Right?
Yeah,
Right.
you just ride it out.
Millions of people are killed on screen in this movie, but
yeah.
all we're trying to do is save 2 people.
Yep.
Yeah,
And it
that was
works.
his only goal.
But it works, right? It's not,
Yeah.
the premise is, boy, there's just going to be a lot of dead people. And there's
And there
not
were.
really much we can do about it. So
Yeah.
we'll get to it. But there's a point where he just has like a fire department helicopter. And I'm like, how come nobody's telling him to come back to his job?
Yeah, I
But it's because
guess it's his
California
family
is
and
destroyed at that point.
yeah. Like,
You
what
know?
are you gonna do?
Yeah.
It's not like because he's gone, like a bunch of people died. Like people are just dying left and right. So
Man, we got all kinds of spoilers here. Inflatable boats through buildings.
Yeah.
Yep, we're taking
Yep.
ribs
Yep.
all
It's a
over the
big one.
place. Without The Rock, this is trash.
yeah, kind
Yeah,
of agree.
probably.
Well, I
Really?
think if it was someone else, it wouldn't be like with The Rock. Once again, I'm like, yeah, he probably could do that because he's The Rock. If it was like in
Let's think
2012, who was it in 2012?
Gosh.
Shoot,
Anyone,
what's his
that
name?
would have been, that would have been prime Avengers time, I think. So RDJ, you get Robert
That's
Downey
true.
Jr. in there.
Yeah.
Maybe like a Ryan Reynolds. I don't know. I think The Rock being in this, he felt comically big
Yeah,
for
but I feel like that is
because
him.
he is comically big, but everybody else in this is kind of normal.
Yeah, but
Yeah, everyone's like very average normal.
you never really, other than in the beginning, you never see The Rock really get to be.
He's
He
not a
doesn't-
superhero.
He's
did-
not
yes.
a superhero in
Which
this.
I thought he was
Yeah.
going to do that
He's
too.
just a helicopter pilot.
And
Right.
I like that he is like, it starts off, you find out he's a fire rescue, like,
Mm-hmm.
saving people. So it's not just a regular dad who's scaling buildings to, like, get his daughter or something.
That's true.
No, it's
I thought
it's a
that
good
John
mix
Cusack
of
is his
John-
name, by
yeah.
the way.
You're
Sorry.
right. The
Yeah.
what his capabilities are set in the beginning, and he never sort of like expands beyond that.
I thought he was going to be like, well, I'll just free climb. And he'll just.
I know. I
thought he
expected
was-
him to save California.
So I'm kind of happy that it was, like, pretty tame
Yeah, you're right.
compared
You're
to
right.
that.
You're right. Yeah.
Natalie's asking about the green
Yeah,
background.
Ryan, these are just trees that Calvin drew.
It's something that the kids drew. I don't know.
But right here, this is San Francisco burning. So
If you look, you can see the
What's
rock
that
hanging
tunnel?
from a helicopter.
There's
You know,
no-
someone just had a
somebody
tunnel.
lives down there. But this is the rock. He's hanging from a. Hold on. Let me make us a little bit bigger here. This is the rock hanging from a helicopter.
It's like the size of a building. My, perspective, we'll just pretend he was
Yep.
closer to the camera and whatnot. But,
All right.
okay.
Gosh.
Well, should we
where
get
do we
started?
start? Yeah.
Okay, so this movie starts. It is a teen girl driving, and she's like driving around mountaintop. She's in the San Fernando Valley,
Oh my gosh, you're right. I forgot all about this.
and
Me too.
they're tricking you because she keeps
I
like the
like
cars
that.
coming,
I
and
love
she's like
this.
reaching for her water bottle, but then everything's fine. She passes the car, and then she like gets a text, and she reads it, and you're like every
Yeah,
time, and
yeah,
then
you're
she's
like-
fine.
You're waiting for her to die, basically.
Yeah. And then finally she goes around a turn, and I think it's just like a rock hits her windshield, and I don't know if
Something,
it was
yeah.
supposed to be an earthquake or a landslide or what exactly.
Oh.
Yeah,
That
what?
could
What?
be
Like
it.
a landslide.
I think it was
Yeah,
like rock
I think you're
sliding
right.
down. But her car flips off the side. Now, this part, here, can I use your book for a second? Her
Yeah.
car flips like a domino. Like
Yeah.
smashing head
Yeah,
over.
what's that
like-
about?
Like if
Like,
you
why was it like,
like if you
that?
flipped a domino over
Yeah.
a cliff.
But it's
like you gave it-
smashing like the front to the back to the
It's
front.
it was going so fast.
It was very strange.
And not like, I feel like it's that it was at a speed and never sped up. Normally, like stuff sort of gravity
Like-
accelerates,
Yeah,
like boom,
yeah.
boom, boom, boom,
no,
boom,
it
boom.
was boom, boom, boom.
It was like boom, boom, boom,
Yeah.
boom, boom, and
It's
it,
so
it was
weird.
like it was like on a like somebody had a metronome for the way that this car was falling. It was so weird. You talk
But-
about uncanny valley right off the bat.
Yeah, that was weird.
was
But
so weird.
She ends up like wedged or kind of hanging on the side of a cliff where she like her car's literally hanging, so she can't just get out. I think she must find her cell phone and call for help because they don't really say how they
I
find
think,
her.
Yeah, she finds it. I think they show it.
But so then we cut to this is where we meet The Rock. His name is Ray. So he's a fire rescue helicopter guy. They're all in the helicopter doing an interview. You find out The Rock has 600 rescues, which I'm like, that seems
Right under his belt.
like a lot.
But
That is a
one thing I
lot.
did want to mention, the intro, the opening credits intro as
Oh,
before
I
we zoom
forgot
into the
about that.
girl, it's like French horns blaring. it's
Why
like
do
this.
I not remember that?
The intro music was like, this is an epic fantasy journey. It was
like
crazy.
that. It
I
showed,
Really?
It showed the necklace in the water, which now makes
Oh,
sense.
that's
Ah.
right. Yeah.
and it was like,
But-
"Bwah, bwah." It was like clearly like French horns blasting.
It was very epic.
Huh.
But we're in the helicopter. They're doing some interviews so you can find out how the whole team's great. And then they see the girl in her car, and they're like, here we are. That's our thing. And this is
Sorry, I wrote claymation flips for the car.
Yeah, that's pretty that's
It
pretty
was.
accurate.
It was so weird.
Yeah.
So this is where it's like two cliffs or like a canyon. I don't know the best way to describe it. Her
It's a-
car's on one side.
It's a pretty pronounced
Like I know
what do you
they're just
call
gonna
that?
keep- I don't know.
What is that?
Cut? I don't know.
It's like what was weird because I knew
Like
the
on
movie
each
was about
side.
an earthquake, and it kind of pans out, and she's in this crevasse, like a
Yeah.
insane. Like, did the earthquake? And I thought, did the earthquake already happen? And they're kind of like panning out to show that it's on, baby. But no, she's just in like a freaking.
I guess that's just there every day.
like yeah, it's pretty crazy looking.
So-
but
right?
sorry.
Was that the fault? Like,
That-
was
that
it
was
going to
what I
open?
thought. I was
Maybe?
like,
She's going to go to the center of the earth.
I thought this was the no,
gonna
yeah.
ride it.
King Kong was going to be down there. It's not a canyon. It's not.
I know it's not
wider
a
than-
canyon, and
It was maybe 12 feet across.
You can't get a helicopter in there. Well, there was a bit of an overhang at the top.
That's
yeah,
why they got to tip the
But-
hat.
That's why we got to tip the hat.
yeah. So right
Or
away they're
get a
like,
longer rope, right?
well,
Which
that's
we'll get
what,
to.
okay.
How about a longer rope? That's literally
Yes.
what I've
Instead
written.
Right
of
away.
risking 8 people's lives in this helicopter, get a
It
longer rope.
doesn't make any sense. So yeah, right away the Rock is like, we can't reach her. What are you talking about? I have a 20-foot rope back here. I
Yeah.
think we'll reach her. I don't see the problem.
Well, what's crazy is like the whole rest of the movie. It really gets like it doesn't get wild, but like I was just sort of like I almost like stopped taking notes at some point, and I was just watching the movie. Like it
It's
wasn't.
not bad.
It's not
And
bad. I was watching. I was having fun.
It stays within the lines most of the time, right? He doesn't
Yeah,
like we already talked about. He doesn't
but it's just
lift a girder over anybody or
right.
it never
Yeah.
gets that wild.
it's just this opening scene with the claymation flips and the rescuer going under a car that can fall.
Yeah.
Like that is number one rule, line of fire.
No.
No
do not.
professional rescuer
okay.
under any
Yeah.
circumstances would
It's
go
going-
under a car that could fall. Like
Yeah,
That was
I
what was
didn't-
going through my head. Like that would have been the first thing he was taught is you don't go like you
Yeah,
don't go there.
Well, and
Yeah.
they kind of like they're barking orders at this. It's like a new guy or a rookie or something, and he, the Rock says it really fast. Mr. Rock says it really fast. He's like, okay, do this, connect to her, get
Mr.
her,
Rock.
get her out of the car. Right? If the
Yeah.
car falls, she's dead. And somebody did a little bit of research here and sort of like rescue operations, but then the dude gets under the car, like.
He
connects to
he
the
says he has
rear
to
axle or the
stabilize the
hitch.
car, which is
No, you
stupid because
don't.
he goes to the window and he's like, I need you to stay still. We got to stabilize the car first. You literally could grab her like a baby right then
Just
and there.
come out of the
Right.
door.
Like, just grab
We're
her.
done.
And it's so, yeah, he goes to the bottom of the car, reaches his arm under to stabilize. The car slips and falls on him and he's pinned.
Oh,
What's crazy
so
is
he's
that
got
he
an
is
arm.
pinned.
Yeah, his
Under
arm
the
is pinned
car.
under it.
He's got an arm under the car,
And
but the
his-
reason why he's stuck is the cable that he hooked to the car is on
Yeah.
the other side of his arm. So all the weight of the car is on a
So he's-
quarter-inch steel cable on the inside of his armpit.
Well,
like
and then he's connected to the helicopter, so the weight is like pulling the helicopter down.
Yeah, it didn't make any sense. But
And they also say before that they're like, we have 5 minutes and then the engine will fail on the helicopter.
Yeah,
why
didn't
did
it-
why are they out of gas?
What are you talking about? Who prepped this situation?
was it like, is it because you tipped the hat? Are we like suddenly,
That
like,
took
is
all
the-
the fuel.
is the Earth's atmosphere different here under this
I don't
ledge?
know.
I know. So
Did you guys notice how the interviewer that's in the helicopter with them for some, just so that she can ask the questions to give us
Right.
information?
She's
right?
the audience. Yeah.
She's the audience, but she writes down "cute but dumb" about
Yeah,
the
for
guy
the
who
one
gets his
guy.
arm stuck.
Yeah. When he's
Okay.
answering, he's like being funny and stuff,
Like,
and
oh, okay. He's
Okay.
not. What? Why give us that information? He's not in the rest of the movie at all.
I don't know.
Why character
It's showing,
build this
it's showing
guy?
she's fun. She's cool.
Her?
I don't know. She's
She
in
knows
it
how to
later,
party.
so
She's
That's
cool.
true.
You know what she is? She's cool under pressure, which is
Yeah,
true the
right.
rest of the movie because she's in
that is true.
some
That's
deep
true.
shit later.
So when the guy's arm gets pinned,
Sorry. I just saw something that comes up later.
will you calm down? Okay, calm down.
Inside of this thing.
When
Look at there.
Stop.
Look at there.
when his arm gets pinned is when The Rock says, "I'm going in." He straps up. He zooms on down, which I'm like, why didn't you just do
Again.
this then before?
But more importantly, there's a second guy ready to go with
Yeah.
the gear on.
No, but
So instead, he autopilots it after we tip the hat. He tells the co-pilot to take over. He puts on all the gear,
yeah, it makes
and
no
this
sense.
300-pound man goes down. Like, I'm
I know,
slender
right?
and nimble. I can do it. I don't. I
Well-
mean, he's the hero, but
Then
I agree,
he-
though.
he's
rips-
literally too big
He
to be
rips the
realistic
car
in this
door
movie. Yeah.
off the
off the hinges. He just
and then,
rips it off.
But then he grabs her like a baby. So I don't know why we didn't do this from the
He
beginning.
does exactly what the first guy should have done because apparently that door is hanging on by like an electrical
thread.
cable.
Yeah,
you can
it-
just.
No, this is when I didn't know if The Rock was a superhero yet or not.
That's true.
He
I
just
totally
does.
rips
forgot
it
about
off
this.
like it's not like he's the
rest of the
freaking Hulk.
movie- The rest of the movie
He's
is
normal.
not like this.
Right.
No.
It's
Now, Joe
weird.
says the only reason to watch this movie is for Alexandra
Which is the
Daddario. And I didn't know, is that the
That's the
that's the
daughter.
daughter or the wife? Okay, it's the daughter.
Well, the daughter
we'll
and the
get to that
wife
'cause
look like
they're-
they're about a 5-year age difference.
Right?
So
I wasn't sure if the daughter was his girlfriend at first or not.
also though
Anyway.
I feel like we're getting
I'm
old.
too old for somebody to be like, well, I'm going to drive my just graduated high school daughter to college. For me to be like, wow, that chick's hot. Like,
Yeah.
I'd be like, that's a kid.
She's not 20.
I
She's
know
not
the
20.
actress
Yeah,
is not.
exactly.
But like, then
Exactly.
have her not play an 18-year-old.
They always do that though.
Right.
They're
I
like,
gotta
you're
bring her-
35, so you're 16, and then you're like, why? Why don't we just have a
Maybe she was going back
18-year-old?
to college. I guess it was never
It was
made clear that
weird.
this was her freshman year.
It was
Maybe
weird.
I don't know. It was weird.
But it went right from I'm on the phone saying I'm going to drive you to college, which sounded like for the first time, to her in a swimsuit, and I'm like,
And she's in like a mansion.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, she's
Yeah.
in a literal
I know.
mansion. So
Yeah,
I
she
did
is.
not understand what's happening at all. Is it his
No, and she's
mansion?
like, "Hey, Dad," and she's
Is
in
he
her
driving
like
his
bikini,
girlfriend to college?
right?
and he's somehow a millionaire
How horrible
rescue
would that
firefighter.
be?
Right? Like, I mean, that's how they make
What?
these movies, right? He's a firefighter.
Hey, babe.
He's a
like-
millionaire.
The
His
Rock.
girlfriend's 18,
It's like
and he
50.
drives her to college.
well, that's why he can be your dad, but
But also,
it's just
I mean,
weird.
how old is he? Is he like, he's got to be close to 50.
All right,
And
I'll look
he-
it up.
You look it up.
He doesn't
guys-
look a day older than 40.
Now remember, this was
So-
7 years ago, so
Yeah, but he looks the
But still.
same.
Yeah, he looks exactly
he's way
the same.
big. Actually, he got huge for Black Adam. He's like even bigger now than he was then.
Joe just checked, and
The
the
mom
mom
and
and
the
the daughter
daughter
are
are
14 years apart.
I would have
Okay.
guessed less than that, to be honest.
I would guess less,
Yeah.
but
I could see. No, I could see that.
I don't know.
But
Well,
like
maybe. I
the
don't
Rock
know.
doesn't look old.
So The
at
Rock
all.
is
Like
50,
his daughter
he's-
should be 20.
The Rock is 50 right now.
right. So he's 43 when this was made.
Yeah.
And she was probably 28, which is why it,
Right.
Yeah, what's
you
his
know, in
daughter?
Right.
real life. Yeah, that's
Let's
his
figure this out.
daughter,
Let's
is that
do
what
the
you just
math.
said?
So he was 43 when this was made. How old was she?
Yeah,
You got it
check
for me?
out her.
What's her name? Alexandra. Is she in anything
Something.
else? I don't know her.
She's in a bunch of stuff.
DADD. Yeah, she's in a bunch of stuff.
Alexandra Daddario. She is
Her-
36 now.
So she was
So-
29 playing
Wow.
a
Okay,
19-year-old.
see, this
is why-
Yeah.
Well, and
Yeah.
it looked
That's
like
what-
it, right?
exactly. Yeah.
She didn't look like a high schooler.
Well,
yeah.
no, because she was 29.
And then she like meets a guy later who definitely could have been 35.
That was
Right?
the other thing. Okay, I don't know if she was supposed to be going to college, but
I'm gonna
in my
say, like,
mind, she's
20.
18.
I was going to say 22, but 18 works.
Okay.
I mean, in that range,
Oh,
even
she
right?
was in
then-
that Baywatch remake with The Rock.
With him, yeah.
Oh, okay. But even then, she's like essentially flirting with this guy who's going for like a legit engineering
Right.
job. And I'm
So
like,
he's
well,
out
he's
of
like,
college.
he's been
certainly.
out for a while if he's now
Yeah.
trying to get this job.
She's older than him, though.
And
She
then
probably is.
yeah. And then I was like, well, that's weird that he's like, oh, she's a hottie. And I'm like, she's like a early college. Like, that's weird again.
But- I don't care how much you
don't
tell
know.
me in the movie that she's on her way to college. It's like, no, that's a 28-year-old woman.
It's a full-grown
Yeah.
woman.
yeah, I don't. You can't convince me otherwise.
She's
you know?
full-grown.
like full grown. Don't
Yeah,
say
can we not use that? Let's.
that is not a term you should be using.
Sorry.
That sounds like something a pet. Well, she was full grown, and you're like,
Your
"Please
Honor."
stop talking.
Your Honor.
Okay, so after he saves the girl, so they're all saved, they're
Gosh,
all
we're
good to
still
go.
at the beginning. All right. Sorry.
we enter a lecture hall. There's a scientist, teacher, professor guy talking about earthquakes. He's talking about some of the worst ones and how they need to research to predict them. And that's
Sure.
you right away. You know he's the guy. He's gonna
Yep,
do it.
he's the brain in the chair.
Yeah, and that is Paul Giamatti, which I really enjoy. But
Yeah.
just
Paul
like him.
Giamatti as a college professor, though, I was like, this is Paul Giamatti.
Well, he is in every.
This whole
movie.
movie, it's The Rock playing
And
The Rock.
Paul.
Yes.
It's Paul
Yeah.
Giamatti being Paul
Yeah.
Giamatti.
Yep.
It's like nobody
That's
is
fine, though.
like a character in
It's
this
actor.
movie.
It's almost
Yeah.
like a stage play, right? Like it's me, The Rock. It's me, Paul
Right.
Giamatti. According to
Oh.
these graphs.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Although
then
he
yeah.
sorry. Paul is very understated in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Which
I
he-
would agree.
He's pretty good at that. He's convincing
No, I think he
enough.
does good in it though. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's in his office and some guy runs in with his laptop, and as we described it, he's holding it like a wet magazine, like at the corner.
It looks like it weighs about a half a pound.
Hey, I got
Like,
this.
It was obviously a prop. There's no way you could carry an actual laptop.
Why would
like
you
that.
carry it like that? He's
He had
like,
his
by the
thumb.
corner.
He had his thumb in the
In
hinge.
the screen? Or oh, did he? Okay.
In the hinge.
I'm
And he was-
thinking like in
And
the
he's like-
screen. Like just digging into it.
But anyway, he's like, oh man, we predicted a bunch of mini quakes and like another
Yep.
one's going to happen. They want to do their research, so they're going to head to the Hoover Dam. Is that where they go? right?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
I was like, did I say the wrong dam? All those dams that I know.
We've only got one in the U.S., right?
Well, that's
And
why I
this is
was
it.
like, am I saying this
It's
right?
the Three Rivers Gorge Dam.
There's only one dam in the U.S. It's the Hoover Dam, and it's in every Michael Bay film.
That's true. So they're gonna head there to do some more research.
But what's
then-
their whole shtick is that they can predict accurately enough to actually anticipate quakes, which I
Yeah.
guess is not a thing.
Instead
yeah,
of
which I
not
was like,
knowing
is
it,
that not a thing?
well, here
Thought
was
we
the
had that,
thing.
but I guess not.
Instead of like a quake happening, they now have the ability to predict a quake mere seconds before it occurs.
Yeah, which
Yeah,
is like
right.
great. Thanks.
With enough lead time to make no difference. It doesn't matter. It
The
doesn't
magnetic
matter.
field spikes
I guess he does kind of
30
predict
seconds
them more.
before.
He does kind of predict more, but yeah,
They
for
do,
the most part,
and then at the end, there's kind of like a little somebody says off screen, like, "Wow, you saved all those lives because you predicted that quake." You don't see any of that.
yeah,
You
I
just
didn't see
sort of
like anyone get saved. I
Right.
feel like everyone still died.
everybody in
but-
San Francisco is dead in this movie. Yeah,
There are some horrific deaths shown in this
Oh,
movie.
there are.
not as much as Poseidon though. Not
Well,
nearly as
Poseidon,
much.
it was that you saw them afterwards, the floating dead bodies.
That's
In
true.
this movie, once people
None of
die,
that.
they disappear, they
Yeah.
evaporate.
Right.
That is
right.
true.
Yeah.
So then we find out The Rock's going to take his daughter to college. You see on his table that he has divorce papers. You know, that's happening. And then he's looking through some old photos that are like the worst Photoshop job I've ever
Yeah.
seen.
It's insane.
It's like him and his kids by a, landmark. And it just, I don't know.
You know what
who
it looks
decided
like?
to
It
do
looks like that episode of Seinfeld where George has somebody like
when he's like at the beach.
take him out of the boss's photo, and they accidentally take the boss out, and then he puts him back in, and it's like a cartoon drawing. It's like that.
It was really bad. But that's where you
I love
find
how
out
he
his
has the
life.
guy
Yeah.
He's like, take me out of this photo, and he takes the he takes the other guy out. All right, different show.
Okay, so then the two professor guys, so Paul Giamatti and a friend, are heading to the Hoover
Yeah.
Dam. His one friend is like in a tunnel in the dam. I don't know how
Yeah.
he got like
where you
authorization
gotta
to
get
like
the
He's in like
head over there.
What is that called in a dam? Like
An overflow tunnel.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's
Like,
in there,
The
and
things
they're
that like prevent it from breaking.
yeah.
Exactly.
And they're like, they have their computers and they're like, oh my God, we did it. They're talking to each other and they're like, we predicted that mini quake. And then when his friend's in there, they're like, hold on. There's a 7.1 coming. And of course, like you said, there's about 10 seconds before it starts.
Yeah.
So that didn't help anyone.
They predicted it though.
He did predict it. So all of a sudden, the dam just starts like breaking in half. And Paul Giamatti does save some people. He gets them off the top of the dam.
He does.
Which
yeah.
also I didn't know there was like, here's the safe zone of the dam. He's like, get to the
that
or
was
whatever.
pretty questionable. Yeah.
I feel
mean,
like just keep running. I'm not gonna stop.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna like, okay, we're in the safe zone. Like
there's
or anything.
Immediately
What comes
took.
little
It was
little
like-
road barriers come up out of the
Yeah.
Hoover Dam, and he's like, get behind the barrier, and people
Yeah.
run to these things, and then they stop, and they're just
Yeah.
waiting on
Who's-
the edge of the Hoover Dam as it's collapsing.
It is like straight up like crack
Full-fledged.
up the entire thing. Yeah.
I
So-
think that was the first and last time Paul Giamatti ever tried to yell to people. It was like
Yeah.
I don't know.
It was very
it
hoarse.
wasn't
It
working.
was-
Yeah. Yeah.
But he sees his friend coming across the top, and he's like, "Come on, get out of there!" His friend stops to save a kid. I'm gonna question right now: who left their freaking kid? Someone was
Yeah.
like, "Where's Susie?" Well,
Well,
Susie's
she's old
still on the
enough to
dam.
be like, oh, Susie went to get a souvenir at the
I guess.
gift shop, I
right.
think. Yeah.
She did look
Which-
like 10-ish.
Well, what bothered me was that she was old enough to where it didn't make any sense for the guy to pick her up. And
For
he
her to
picks
like
her up.
hide.
It's
Yeah.
like she's 14.
I'd be like,
Run.
run.
You're faster than me. Run.
She was like big.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're
But
a
he's-
big kid. Run.
Oh,
He's
man.
holding her.
Look who shows up to the party. What's up, Rob? Back like I never left.
He is holding the girl, and like the dam breaks out from under him. And when he looks at his foot, like he kind of half fell. When he looks at his foot, foot. Sorry, a like
Whoa.
bar is like straight
It doesn't make
through
any
his
sense.
foot.
It doesn't make any sense.
He's got
it does.
a 1 inch.
It's
Like
a
iron
rebar,
huge piece
like,
of rebar.
yeah.
It's giant.
And it's
directly up to
straight
his
through.
foot. Directly
So he's
up.
not going anywhere. He got speared to the dam. He's not getting out of
If
that.
you, there's no way there's no way
That
for that have
breaking
to have
apart.
gone through his foot, unless it shot at him like
it would
a
have had
rocket.
been propelled into his foot, right? It would have had to have been.
Somebody would
shot
have to
at
be
him.
holding the foot still.
Yes.
Hold on.
Yeah, and we're gonna hydraulically rebar your foot. Yeah.
Well,
Like,
he
why?
essentially gives Paul Giamatti the girl,
All
which
they
once
had to
again
do was, like,
run, like
put
stop.
a rock on his foot. It's not.
Yeah, like
You
pull
didn't
him
have to
off.
rebar
Still,
him.
I
Right.
don't.
It didn't
No.
make any sense.
And then he does the Pa Kent from Man of Steel.
Right.
It's the no.
Don't come get me.
I hate that.
Even
When
though
in
he's-
that
it's like
movie, too.
freaking it's
He's
Superman.
Like 6 feet away.
Yeah.
And
Like,
judging
I
by the
bet we could
injury,
just
you could have just pulled him right
pull
off.
that
of
foot
that
right
rebar.
off. I don't see
Right.
the problem. But he gives
No.
the girl, and he's like, "Close your eyes." Which I'm like, when did you care about? I don't know. If I'm dying, I'm probably not gonna be like, "Hey, kid, think of something happy." And then he just gets washed
Just taken
away.
out.
He is
Her?
just
Doesn't
taken
he
out. Yeah, he kind
somehow
of like
from
chucks her to
From a
Paul.
prone position, he's laying
you
down with
just-
rebar through his foot. He just yeets her over
He
this
has an amazing overhead press, this guy.
underhand too.
Couldn't carry the
You know,
laptop,
he doesn't even
but
have
he
time
could.
to get into position for the.
This was the time, this whole Hoover Dam scene, I was like, as the like engineer in me, I was like, they're gonna show the Hoover Dam breaking, and it's not gonna be as thick as it actually is in real life. And then I was like, and
Nope.
they don't show it, so
No.
I couldn't like,
Not really.
I couldn't lord my knowledge over everyone.
The only thing you got out
Over
of it
me,
was
is that what you said?
the only thing you got out of it were the like the super overflow.
Yeah.
I don't know what you call them, channels way downstream where
Yeah, and
they
they're
just
like,
blast into
Yeah.
each other. Yeah, that was pretty cool. But
But yeah, so Paul sees his friend speared and taken out. He's dead.
He's dead.
He's gone.
Sorry,
Yeah.
bud.
And yeah, that's the whole movie.
First death of many.
man,
yeah,
we
that
got to
is.
get cooking because we're
I know,
like
we have a
Yeah,
lot.
we're really taking our
15
time.
So-
minutes into the movie.
So this is where The Rock was going to take his daughter. Of course, there's
Yeah.
an emergency situation, so he gets called in. So he goes to drop off something to his daughters, and this is where he meets. This is picture number 3, Ben. This is where he meets you see the
I'm
ex-wife
so
and
far
her new
behind.
boyfriend, who is like Mr. Stretch or whatever.
Oh yeah, it's what's
From,
Ian or
I have
Ian
no
or
clue.
Ian or something?
Here's helicopter
Yeah, cool.
Rodriguez.
Good look. Nice, like it.
Yeah, what's picture 2?
Picture 2 is The Rock as the fireman.
Oh, okay.
But yes, you're right. Picture 3 is
And
Mr.
you-
Fantastic.
What is happening right now?
It's not working how it normally does for some reason.
What
So I'm
is
having
happening?
to like open and close it.
First of all, this
God,
photo too.
This
is the
picture looks like
weirdest
a different movie. This looks like a totally different movie.
This looks like something where they're like their minds have been taken
Mm-hmm.
and they're like pretending to be humans.
This
or
is from
something.
downsizing, actually.
This does look like it's from Downsizing.
Anyway, you meet the boyfriend. The boyfriend of the mom says, "Hey, I'll take the daughter," because he's like a rich gazillionaire. He has like private jets and stuff. So you find out that's happening. Then
Do you ever find out about his stretch abilities?
I was waiting for him to use them. He didn't, but I was a little disappointed. Paul Giamatti is talking to the reporter who was from the beginning, and that's when they kind of go over, and he's like doing all of his scientific blah blah blah, and he says how like all of California and San Francisco is going to be doomed and all that shit. So you find out like, hey, this is not, it wasn't a one and done. Like that was just the beginning.
That was just the starting point. The whole tectonic plate.
That's what he's like drawing on a map, which was driving me
Yeah,
nuts. 'Cause I'm like,
they-
do you have multiple maps? I don't know, but
Yeah, he does
That's not for me.
Sharpie a map, and it's like, well, hope
there
nobody
goes
needed
that
that.
one.
Right.
I don't.
Why did that bother everybody so much? It bothered me.
It's like, geez,
I was
dude,
like,
like,
dude,
put something over it and use a what's it called?
like a wipe. Yeah.
an expo marker. Yeah,
He's like, and he was
Jeez.
like scribbling
he
out
really
shit.
digs into it. like he would saturate the map to the point where he would go through it. That's what bothered me.
Yeah. So that was a problem. But okay, so Blake, who is the daughter, goes with Daniel, who is the boyfriend of the mom. And he takes her on like his airplane and blah blah blah. You find out
Why
he's
are
rich,
they
he builds
going?
buildings.
Why were they?
And they were like
were
going
they-
around town. I don't know.
I think he was taking her to college because The Rock had to go rescue the
right.
Hoover Dam people.
Yeah, but like he stops at like his office and stuff first. So that's why they were in San Francisco.
Okay.
So they go to one of his buildings. He has to do work. She sits in like the waiting room, and this is where you meet Ben, who is an engineer who's trying to get a job. And then he has his little brother with him, Ollie.
I don't think I've
Excuse
ever
me.
seen a movie with somebody named Ben in it. It was very
Yeah,
exciting.
Ben was
That's
very
true,
excited
actually.
about the
Yeah,
situation.
that's a good point.
They're both British, which is weird.
So,
I just felt
for
like that
no
wasn't
reason?
needed.
Not really any reason for
in
that.
San Francisco.
Yeah.
They were on holiday.
I at this point in time, Mr. Fantastic, I was so confused about. There was a scene with him in the plane with her where she asks why he's never had kids, and he talks about how because the buildings he's designed are his kids. And there's sort of like a moment where like she smiles and like she's like warming up to him, and I'm
Yeah.
like, it's like almost like they're trying to be like, oh, he's not so bad.
Well, he's
Well,
the
yeah.
mom's boyfriend, right? He's
Much
like,
like
the new guy.
2012, I was at this point. You're thinking, okay, where are we going with stepdad? Because there's
Yeah.
only two ways to go. Stepdad dies in a hail of glory, and we sort of owe
Being
stepdad,
grinding in the
Right.
gears of Noah's Ark,
right?
which was
Or
happened to.
in this movie,
Like a true hero.
like a fairy tale
saving
evil
everybody.
stepdad.
Yeah.
He's just the worst person on earth.
Mm-hmm.
And up till now, he's been fine.
He's good.
He's been even better than fine in the plane ride.
Yeah.
Right? He's
Yep.
been like, oh, he's not so bad. That's about to change.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Rock's ex-wife she's on the top floor of a building eating lunch with the boyfriend's sister. I feel like that's very confusing. Anyway, they're on the top, and this is where the Rock calls her to like chit chat and be like, "Oh, last time we talked, blah blah blah," and then the first earthquake happens. Right?
That sister is a bitch.
She's like, "Didn't one of your kids die?" And like, she's being a
Like
huge
whoa.
bitch.
Yeah, and I was like, shit. She's gonna get trapped with this lady for
Like
the
in an
next hour and a
elevator or
half.
something.
Like they're gonna have to, like clearly there's people in multiple places. There's the Rock in the
That's true.
helicopter. There's the group in San Francisco. There's her with the sister. And I was like, we're gonna have to suffer through
That is
these
true.
two warming up to each other. And I was like, this is gonna suck.
Well, she's talking to Ray, the Rock, and the earthquake happens, and she says where she is, and he's like, get to the first of all, he's like, grab as many people as you can and get to the top of the building. I don't know. You're in a helicopter that can hold like 5 max. I don't know why we're grabbing as many people as possible, but
Right.
anyway, she tries to grab the sister to go up to the top, and the sister like goes out a stairwell instead. And when she opens the door of the stairwell, the building's just gone beyond that. So clearly, the sister
She
just
dies
like
instantly.
boom, she's
It's
gone.
like there's a
that
30-second
her
scene of
sister?
you.
It
It's
was
the
boyfriend's sister.
boyfriend's sister. It's Mr. Fantastic's sister.
Yeah.
It's the Invisible Woman.
I didn't understand. That makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
I
'Cause she's
just want to
openly
comment.
hostile in that dinner.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
She's a big bitch. Yeah.
Ryan, shut up. Don't talk about other movies with
Doesn't
Ben.
count. It's a nickname.
But there's like shit falling everywhere. There's people dying. Like they open up the stairway and some guy's running and just like essentially the building falls out from under him and he just like runs out and falls 84. Yeah. So people are dying left and right. She makes it to the top of the building, but then falls down like 5 floors or
Oh,
something.
that's
like
right.
she
She
kind
does
of like
the guy.
down.
Didn't one of the guys in the Twin Towers like ride up one of the floors all the way down to
He
the
did.
bottom and survive?
I
Isn't there some?
specifically
I don't know.
remember that.
Wow.
Like
What?
75 stories.
She
or
like
something.
pancakes
Holy
about
shit.
5 floors.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's some dude actually did that. I
I need
think.
to.
I
Stop saying
suppose you
think.
build up.
Well, I wasn't there.
I know, but I remember reading like a
I-
newspaper story
Right.
about
That's
him
incredible.
that like next day.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, it was something
Wow.
insane. Like 70 something stories. He like in a chair,
suppose at a
essentially, like,
certain
wrote it
point,
down.
You've got so
If you,
much
like-
material beneath you, right? If you're just
Yeah.
not to make
But-
light of it, but holy cow, I'll have to
Right.
look into that.
It's hard to be like, wow, that's insane. Almost
And
to the
also be
point of
like-
like being funny. To be like, well, it was a very funny situation.
Yeah,
but
I'm
like,
so
I can't
sorry,
believe
though.
that happened.
You fell 75 stories? I'm sorry. Explain yourself.
Yeah, right? So then,
I'm going to go get a beer because it's my birthday.
okay. Do you want me to wait?
No, go ahead.
Okay. So then we cut to
Okay,
Blake. I'm sorry, I keep having, I can't
Blake.
talk today.
Okay.
Blake, the daughter,
The
and the
Rock's
mom's new
girlfriend.
boyfriend. Don't, you're getting confused, everyone.
Sorry. The Rock's ex-wife and the Rock's
Right.
girlfriend and the ex-wife's boyfriend, who's
And Mr. Stretch.
right. So Black Adam and
Right?
Stretch
That's how
Armstrong,
I feel like it fell. And then Paul
Yeah.
Giamatti gets shoved in there.
the Rhino.
They
Okay.
That is true. He is that, isn't he? In the
We don't talk about that. We don't talk about
That
that.
was the one time that
That was too much.
they're leaving the building that he was in, and they're in the parking garage, and that's when the earthquake
Okay,
happens for
yeah.
them. So they have a driver. So the driver starts driving. They're like yelling at him to get out of the parking garage. The ground like opens up, and he essentially like drives down a floor, and then
Yeah,
like
the
crashes into the wall.
Parking garage floor
Yeah,
falls out.
like floor falls.
They go down a floor. Yep.
He crashes into the wall, and then when they stop and he turns around and be like, "You guys okay?" Like a giant piece of cement just crushes him. Like his whole body, he gone.
Dude
He's done.
disappears. Just gone.
This is the first evaporation of
This is when you're like, "Holy shit!" right away. So
that guy is gone.
like,
Yeah. Just
there's nothing left to
evaporation
identify him.
implies that something remains. He just
Yeah, exactly.
a
Like
singular.
he never was.
Yeah.
But because the driver was in front of Blake, her legs are like pinned because of
Yeah.
the weight of that. So Daniel tries to help her for about 2 seconds, and then he's like, "I'm gonna go get help." But you can tell right away, you're like,
Yeah.
"You seem fishy."
Yeah.
He goes out to get
It's
help.
the way they shot it where,
Yeah.
like, obviously it was on purpose, but he looks at her and he looks at the exit sign. And
Yeah,
then at her.
and
it's
then he's
like-
like,
and then at the exit
and he's
sign.
like, "BRB, bitch." Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
Exit sign looks
exactly.
pretty good. Yeah.
Bye.
So
Yeah.
he goes to get help is all we know. Oh, then yeah, he does actually go to some people and he's like, "There's a girl trapped in the parking
that's true.
garage." But then another thing falls and almost like kills him, and that's when he's like, "I'm out." And he
Yeah.
he ditches her. He says, "Fuck this," and he just
Yeah.
leaves.
They keep showing his boot being stuck in the rubble.
I think
like
he was
that
like
was
he
the thing
was
that
so
sent him over
close.
the edge.
I don't know.
The
But
boot.
when he was saying there's a girl in the parking garage, British Ben and his brother heard that, and they're like, "That's that hot girl that we met."
It's got to be that babe.
Like, what are the odds? There's thousands of people in that parking garage right now.
right?
Right.
And so
One
they're like,
girl?
"We gotta save her," and so
Hey,
they go to help her out.
Little
It
bro,
has
you
to
gotta
be
help me
Blake.
save this hot chick.
Yeah, which
Like,
I don't know.
Right.
anyway,
Been there.
That's weird.
you're right.
You've been there, really. Would you like to elaborate on that one?
You guys are going to need to sit here while I go on this car ride because it's necessary.
What does that mean? So the ex-wife, she fell down a few floors. A fire is starting below her. She sees the helicopter coming, so she's like booking it up the building and stuff. The Rock does autopilot again, his favorite button on the helicopter, and he like throws one of the what do they call it? It's like a basket for
Yeah, it's a
You know,
if
someone
somebody
who's
with like a
hurt.
neck injury or somebody
Yeah.
who can't move, right?
he like throws that down, but also a building goes next to him, so it's like a bunch of smoke and stuff everywhere. And this is what I hate. So he then is like, maybe she's on it. I guess she like didn't want to talk. I don't know. He starts
Huh.
like bringing the basket back up, and he sees that half of it's just hanging there, and he's like, "Oh my god, she didn't make it." And that's when she's like,
shit.
"I'm here," and it's like you didn't want to yell that earlier, so
Yeah.
you don't want to be like, "Yeah,
there
I
needed
got
to be
it."
some suspense.
Anyway, he gets her in the helicopter.
She's fine.
And
Yeah.
she's fine.
This
She's
is the
good.
point in which you can tell this is not a Michael Bay movie because she is climbing on all fours up to where his like little cage thing is, and the camera shot is from below her, and it's cut right at the waist of her pants so that it's not like a butt shot. And if it was a Michael Bay movie,
Oh, boy,
that frame
yeah.
would have been
It's
that
Showtime,
frame
yeah.
would have
baby.
been 6 inches lower.
They had some low cut
It would have
shirts
been
in here, but
18
nothing.
inches lower and with a fisheye
Yeah, right.
lens on it.
She would
So it
have
was
like
just-
heels and a mini skirt on.
Yeah,
And that,
yeah, she would have been in a
exactly.
skirt
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
There are definitely like everyone is sort of shedding clothes later throughout the movie,
But
especially
overall-
Blake.
Not really,
nothing-
not,
But not
to the
too
point
bad.
where it becomes distracting.
Right.
Yeah, it's like that. You still have a T-shirt on or a tank top or something.
Yeah.
It's nothing that's like
Just
too
thank
crazy.
goodness you wore 3 layers.
Yeah, that was kind of
conveniently
weird
this
though.
day.
Blake had
I
like
do remember
20
that.
layers on,
She takes off multiple shirts at one
and
point.
she still has a shirt in the end.
And she's still
Right.
fine. I'm like, okay, all right.
Layered
I don't know
on
why
up.
you had all that on in California.
Yeah, whatever.
Anyway.
Blake is still trapped. She calls her dad on the phone. Cell phone towers go out, so that's when they're like, "We got to go get our daughter." So that's
That's right.
the hint.
So mom, sorry, I'm keep cutting you
No,
off.
go for it.
I didn't understand this because I feel like you have to know the geography of California to totally understand what's happening here. Because the mom and the dad, I mean, I guess the stepdad and Blake took a plane.
Yeah, they did take a plane.
So we
before.
know they're somewhere else, right?
Yeah, I don't
But
think do they say how far away they are? I don't remember.
at one point, they're in the helicopter and they have 90 minutes of flight time left.
Yeah, I do remember that, but that was after they went for a while.
And
Right.
I thought, oh, okay, so she went like 4 hours away. Something
Right? It
like
must
that.
have been
you know?
something like that.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't.
Well,
know
I know
California.
I don't exactly. Like
Uh-huh.
they assume you know how far apart LA and California and San Francisco are.
I have
And, it's like
no clue.
Yeah,
I'm not
I
from
don't know.
California.
have the faintest clue.
The only reason I know that it's like a 6-hour drive is
Ryan?
because
Former California resident.
Yeah, how
reporting
far
for
is the
Moody.
drive? Is it?
yeah. All right, Quinn. How far is San Francisco and LA apart? The only reason I know it's like a 6-hour drive is because when I listen to the Giant Bombcast, they talk about how long it takes for them to drive to E3
Okay.
from San
I-
Francisco.
Whenever I listen to
LA.
podcasts of people in
6 to 8
California,
hours.
they're like
Wow. Okay.
in one zone.
But again,
You're
I
right,
don't
what'd he
even
say?
know. I have no knowledge
6
of
to 8
the
hours.
geography of
Okay.
California, except it's
That's
big.
a
It's tall.
far- Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very tall.
Yeah. Huh.
So this is when British Ben shows up.
Engineer Ben.
So, okay, I also thought him being like,
Bengineer?
I'm an engineer was going to come in more. It comes in like,
Eh.
maybe if you call this engineering, I don't know.
Exactly. Well, he saves her. Then the rest of the movie, she
She
saves
saves
him.
him.
Yeah, she's
But-
the go-to on
I mean,
this
her
one.
dad is the Rock. How would she not know?
Right.
But he essentially, in the end, jacks up the car, but then it's like not far enough to whatever. Then he slashes the tires so the bottom goes down.
That was
so the
kinda
top is
clever.
which I was like, oh, that's smart. Like,
Okay.
I liked that. And then they get her out before like the whole thing gets crushed.
Yep.
Right.
But I just thought that he was going to be like, I'm an engineer more often.
I agree. I thought
Right.
like they made it very clear he's an engineer. Like what kind of engineer? I just want to do engineering.
I
That's
thought
what
All
he
he said
says.
engineering.
structural
yeah.
at one point.
And
And
then
so I
But-
thought that was going to be a thing that they were going to have to
Right.
figure out this building. That
Yeah.
which never happens, and that's fine. But
Which is,
don't
yeah,
know.
right. It didn't like ruin it, but then they go. This is when she's like, "Oh, I need to find an electronics store." So they like find an old Radio Shack or some shit. Which I was like, "Why?" But she told us why later. I have to go to the bathroom.
okay,
no.
where are we?
We're right here.
Fill me in.
We're right at the top. You don't have to read it word for word. That's
All right. So they get out. Now they gotta find a electronics shop. So because all the cell phone towers are out, right?
okay,
And of course, Radio Shack is gonna have, it's gonna have a landline that's functional for some reason. It's
an internet. It's a modem or it's a fax line or something.
I think it's plugged into the phone line. It's an old school like credit
it?
card machine that goes over like
That's
a
what it
normal
was.
phone
It's a
line
credit
modem.
card machine. Yeah, which
But what-
Radio Shack would have an old school.
It would, but
line-based.
would it have a landline phone? Like, why would there? I guess this was 7 years
Same
ago.
thing, I
They would
think,
still
right?
have phones in stores. I feel like now, in 2022,
Absolutely not.
there's no
Yeah.
store that's going to
No.
have a phone in it, right?
No. Nope.
But she is able to call the Rock's helicopter from this landline somehow,
Operator, get me the Rock's helicopter.
right? Like, I don't. However that
she
happens.
knew. She knew. That's
Um,
Dad's work cell. You just call Dad's work cell, right?
Right.
Which is the like monster GPS phone in the helicopter.
in the heli.
Yeah, no big
So
deal.
now he knows she's alive, and he tells her to go to some point they went to on vacation. It was in the picture
Yeah.
that was photoshopped, actually.
Which we forgot to mention when we talked about in the photo of the family. It's the Rock wife, Blake, and another younger daughter,
Right.
which
Mystery
we
girl.
haven't heard anything about yet. Just putting it out there.
We will soon.
Yeah.
So now it cuts back to Daniel, who's out on his own. And it's time this is where he
Daniel's
he
the
abandons
stepdad,
Blake.
right? Sorry.
Yes.
Okay.
This is Daniel's the stepdad. He is the
Mr.
Mr.
Stretch.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Now is when we see his downfall. Step 1 was leaving Blake. Now he'll just kill anybody to get his way.
Yes.
Because what does he do?
Some
There's
guys
something
like
insane on the street. Some
It's
sort
like-
of interaction that he
some
like.
sort of wind. It's like windy or something, and some guy's
Yeah.
hiding behind a building, and he like takes him, chucks him out, and takes his place. And
Like, I
then
think
when
a-
that guy's about to go back to get his spot, he gets like blown away.
Because a
think a
building
I'm
falls
assuming
down.
a building fell.
Yeah. And so he pulls the dude out from a safe spot,
Yeah.
yeets him into the building falling. He tucks
just
in. The guy
tucks
comes
in.
back and then gets blown away.
Yeah. He's like, and he just
like
blasts away.
pretty messed up, man. I don't know.
So yeah, that's when you find out he's just a douchebag.
He's no good. Yeah, no coming back.
The mom and dad are then, which The Rock and his ex-wife are like having a heart-to-heart about shit in the helicopter. That's when you find out like they're divorced and
Yeah.
Remember,
blah,
and
blah,
she
blah, blah.
finds out that Daniel abandoned
Yes.
Blake. And
Yes,
she
Blake tells.
leaves
Blake.
the voicemail. If you're not already dead, I'm going to kill you. I
Yep.
liked that,
Which I like
actually.
that.
I thought it
they-
was pretty good too. Yeah.
I'm so
she-
happy it wasn't a mom being like, well, maybe, like, you know,
Yeah.
I
what?
love
she-
it.
They have to keep
she ditches
convincing
that
them.
dude like
Yeah, instantly.
drops him
Instantly.
dead. Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked that. That was cool.
You left my daughter. If
And
you're
it's-
not already dead, I'm going to kill you.
And it's not about
Yeah.
her getting back with The Rock. It was just like,
No, just
Who's
like
a
you're a
shithead?
douche.
yeah,
So they are, this is when you find out they're 90 minutes away
yeah.
and their helicopter like just starts breaking, which you're like,
Just-
okay.
Well, it took a few hits in the
Yeah, it
the
got
restaurant
scraped
building top rescue.
Yeah, but anyway, so he's like, we're gonna have to crash land, and he like aims for a parking lot, which I thought was weird because there was like people just roaming around. But okay,
It would have been fine if that person hadn't run out into the landing zone at the last moment.
That's what
Oh,
I
but
mean.
this
though.
is where he does another. He doesn't tip the hat, but he specifically names a maneuver to reduce
Oh, does he? I don't remember.
speed. And because the rotors aren't spinning from the motor anymore, he dives and then pulls way up
Oh,
and lets the
yeah.
rotors. I don't think
Kinda
that would
catch
work.
or
There's not enough
something, but-
surface area on the road. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. The rotors are not fat enough
Right to catch air.
to catch
in that way?
air
I don't know. He's
and
like
slow you down.
doing this.
It's not like a
Maybe-
a plane
I don't
has
know.
way more surface.
Maybe
area.
that's a thing.
Yeah.
You could do it on a
But-
plane.
Once they
Anyway.
get down there by a mall, like there's people stealing shit and shooting guns and stuff, so they
Yep.
end up stealing a truck from some guy who was stealing TVs. And when they first get to the truck, the guy had like a guy pops up with a gun, and you're kind of like, "Oh man, what are we gonna do?" And this is where I'm like, "This is what The Rock would do." He turns around and he just grabs the gun from the guy, and he's like, "Get out of here!" and like
Yeah.
shoves him down and takes the truck and leaves.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
can you imagine pointing a gun at like?
Does he
That's-
punch him or does he shoot the guy?
No, he like hits
No,
him or
he
something,
just
so he's like
takes
knocked
it.
out. Yeah.
Yeah.
He doesn't. He's not like legit killing
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
And then on their drive, so now they have a truck. On their drive, they talk about how they lost their second daughter. So she died in a drowning accident. The Rock blames himself because he should have saved her, and he was with her.
Of all the ways to have the other daughter to have died,
Yeah.
like, why is it I took her whitewater rafting,
That was kind of...
like, and she fell off the raft, and I couldn't, like...
I couldn't save her or whatever.
Well, you
What?
know why?
But-
Because it is relevant later.
Yeah, with water.
I
and whatnot.
guess.
That's
But
why.
anyway, you find out, like, this is why they were going to separate, because then he was super distant, and then they wouldn't talk, and then he wouldn't open up, and she's like, well, then that's why I left, because, like, so
Yeah.
you do find out, though, that they didn't break up because of, like, well, somebody cheated. It's because they, like, lost a kid, and,
Yeah.
you know, so all
And
that.
I felt it was very, like, maturely. They have a shockingly mature conversation
Yeah.
where it's like, wow, that makes total sense from both sides. As, like, I don't know. I understood it as like, if I lost a kid, I don't know what I would do.
Well, right? It's the same.
Right.
Yeah. And I like
And
that
her
it's
being
that
kind of like,
and
I don't know what I'm
not-
supposed to do. You haven't talked to me since she died, so...
I just
Right.
like that's
What
that,
exactly.
not something dumb that they're fighting.
Yeah,
over.
it wasn't
Yeah.
like, man, you, like you said, you cheated on me, or, you know, little shit like, man,
Yeah.
how come you never picked up the trash?
Right,
Cody.
stupid stuff that you're like, God. Ugh, Cody, the whole time.
Yeah.
So when they're driving, though, some couple is like, stop, 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 which The Rock ignores at first, but then he like hits the brakes
Yeah, he's
because
like, F those people.
this is the line?
This is the fault.
right?
Right.
This is the fault
I think
line.
so, yeah.
This is the San Andreas.
So there's a big, like, they can't get over it. There's a big, I guess, what would you call it now? Canyon?
This
Cliff?
is a
Fault line?
crevasse.
I don't know what you call it. Okay.
Yeah.
But
But I
they
like-
can't get across.
Tiny thing. I liked that the crevasse
Mm-hmm.
was clearly different elevation, but also shifted perpendicular to the road, right? So they zoom out.
That's true.
And the road they're headed on is 200 feet on the other side.
Yeah.
Like not distant, 200 feet perpendicular to the way they were going. Like the whole thing just slid.
It
and
slid
went up.
over. Yeah.
I
Oh,
liked
that's
that.
cool. I didn't notice that, actually.
Yeah,
Picture
it's
number
way
6 is that
over.
then.
Like even
Oh.
if they tried to jump it, they would land in cornfield.
Yeah, like it wouldn't work.
you wouldn't hit the road at all.
Picture. Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
We have
That's
on the
something.
scene footage here. Oh, you're
Yeah.
right. Look.
See how
Like you
far?
would never
like
right? Like
It's
the
like-
gas station got sheared in
it
half.
shifted. Yeah.
Right. Oh, that's cool.
I just thought it was a nice touch.
I think crevasse is a good word. This is the kind of thing they have
Right,
to put
I don't know
ladders
what
over
you-
when you're climbing Everest. You know?
Okay, I
Right.
was like, what situation are you talking about? But that makes more sense. But they go to thank the people who are trying to warn them, and the one guy owns a plane. He finds out from his hat. So then their next vehicle is a plane.
Yeah.
So they
And
go
give the
to-
truck to the old folks, which is a nice
Yep.
touch.
Right.
And they gas up the plane. Which the old people are like, well, our son lives in the mountains anyway. We can't land the plane. So sure, you take that. We'll take the truck. We're good to go.
Fair trade.
Yeah.
Everybody's helping everybody.
Yeah.
You're right. There's a lot of scenes in this movie that are like small, but like good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I agree.
Like
Yeah.
small in not small as in like they're small in scope. There's like a lot that the way that he's like, where did you get that hat? And then it immediately cuts to them thanking him for giving them the truck.
Yeah.
And they don't
Yes.
have to explain that they went
Yeah.
to the airport.
No,
You
it's
don't have to
very
hear
simple.
him saying, "I'm a crop dusting
Oh,
pilot."
I
or
was
whatever.
I flew
Right.
in Vietnam or this yeah. This
Well-
movie only works because of character and story.
It's also
and-
nice.
Look,
Yeah.
Joe asks, "Why does everybody own a plane in natural disaster
Because-
movies?" No, because only the people who had planes got the camera footage at the end.
Yeah. to
Everyone else
survive
is dead.
there,
That's true.
right?
That's true. Yeah.
But I don't remember what I was gonna say.
I don't know.
Something
So
about
they
plane.
took the plane.
Doesn't
They're
matter.
flying.
They
They're gonna
take the
fly.
plane. Blake, Ben, and Ollie. So all the kids, I guess if you call it kids.
The gang.
Pretty sure
35-year-old
Ben
kids.
is 35.
He's 35. She's
I know.
supposed to be 20, maybe.
They're
and Ollie's like
walking.
14.
He's
She
like
should
14.
be dating
He's a kid.
the
The
teenager,
kid.
the child.
They're walking, and she sees a fire truck and just walks up, and she's like, "Oh man, cool!" Which I'm like, "This is not a free for all. Are there not firemen working?" And
Like
she's like,
right in
"They
front of
should-"
emergency services.
No,
Like
it
there's
was burned out. It was dilapidated.
Okay.
Yeah.
She essentially steals a bunch of shit from them, like
So
the
it's free
radio
use?
and all.
Yeah.
I guess
That's my tax money, right?
I mean,
I'm a sovereign citizen now.
so the
Time
place
to-
they were gonna go is like on fire. So they're like, we got to go somewhere else. So they just say we need to get to high ground because my dad will pick us up there. Even though it's like, well, now dad's in a plane, so that's bad news bears.
Yeah,
for
the
you. But-
situation drastically changes for both parties to the point where it's like, ugh. I don't know how you guys are gonna find each other.
But then Rock, I like how
Rock.
Rock,
Rock.
Dwayne Johnson.
Just the people's elbow.
Rock and Emma, which is apparently the mom's name. I wrote that down.
News to me.
Right. Thanks. I had no
Okay.
idea.
So they go, unlike 2012, they go, is that what the movie was, 2012?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Sure.
Okay. They go to land the plane, and surprise, surprise, the airport, not doing well. It is not in
Yeah,
perfect
what the heck?
condition.
2012. If 2012 taught us anything, it's that airports are the last thing to get destroyed.
There's always a
You
landing
just land
strip.
on it as it crumbles to pieces, right behind you.
So the plane doesn't have a place to land, and so the Rock is like, well, we're gonna parachute out of it, and
Just
she's
gonna
like, what the
jump
fuck
out.
are you talking about? And he's like, well, the plane's gonna crash soon in the ocean if we don't. Which I'm like, I guess gas situation. I'm assuming they had just enough to get to that airport.
I think he was saying that the plane will go out and crash into the Pacific after we jump out of it because he put it into
Yeah,
autopilot.
but I think but she was like, well, why can't we
His
land somewhere
signature
else?
move.
And he was like, well, it'll run out of gas and we'll like immediately kind of
I
thing.
felt like this is too good of a resource to waste. Like,
Okay.
land the plane somewhere.
That's what I
fair.
thought too.
But from a movie watching experience, last thing I needed to see was for them to come down onto an airport. It splits in half. They dip inside the Earth's
They go
crust
down
like
the
a dinosaur
core,
reaches out and they come back up. You know,
a subway goes
I was like,
across there.
cool. Just ghost ride the plane into the ocean, parachute in. I don't
That's
need
true.
the CGI mess.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It is nice.
Yeah.
What
So-
what scene is it? Help me here. Where we keep seeing her point of view, looking at
It's
the
soon,
rock.
it's
soon.
soon.
Okay, thank you.
I don't
Oh, wait,
know
but
what you're
in
talking
this,
about.
so they both put parachutes on, and he
Yeah.
like clips her. You know, they're together.
Yeah, it's
And the
tandem.
best part, okay, so they jump out, and they're like, whoa, what the fuck? And this is my favorite part, where he essentially like in the air 90-degree turns them, which I find very weird. He's like, not this direction, that direction. He turns them, and then he takes her arms and like puts them
Oh,
back
yeah.
like a bird. And it is
He
like
grabs her arms and puts them back.
back like
I
a
liked that,
if you were an
though. Like,
airplane. Just
okay.
the way he did it was so funny, though. The way
Was
he was
it?
like,
Okay.
no, wrong, this way. And
Yeah,
they
but,
start
like, okay,
zooming down.
He's an experienced
Well, that's why it
aviation
works.
rescue pilot.
That's the only reason
Exactly.
it works.
I'm just gonna grab your arms and I'm gonna hold them back.
We're
'cause
gonna
this is
go
where we
this
need to
way.
go.
Yeah.
Like,
exactly.
you know, like if you ever tandem jumped with like it was your first time, you know,
Yeah.
skydiving or whatever. Dude is just gonna might yell at you once and then he's just
No,
gonna
he's
grab
just gonna
your
do
arms.
it. Yeah.
He- like
exactly.
he's not gonna joke around with it. I don't know. I
Ugh.
like that.
But they get down. They land in a stadium. Okay, before that happens, Ben. Hold on.
Okay.
Well, actually, the same time. So another large earthquake happens. And so they get down by a giant stadium. And this is where The Rock starts yelling at everyone. And he keeps telling people to get to the side of the stadium.
he
I'm
says
sorry.
it so fast. He's saying it so fast
He
that you
says it
can't
so
tell
many
if he's saying in.
times.
And he says
Yes.
it so many times you can't tell if he's. I know he's saying side of the stadium, but I just couldn't get over the
Could've
fact
been
that he's
inside.
the stadium,
Exactly.
side of the stadium,
Side of
side of the
stadium,
stadium.
side of stadium, side
And
of
I
stadium, side
wanted
of
so
stadium.
bad somebody to go inside the stadium and him to go no side of the stadium. Like he kept saying it like that. Side of
Wait,
the stadium,
what?
side of the stadium.
Yeah.
Inside the
Where?
stadium?
No, you're right.
Side of
No,
stadium,
side
side
of
of stadium, side of stadium.
You're right.
To the point
Yeah.
where you're like, this isn't a word that you're saying
Side of the
anymore.
stadium. Why
This
was he
is when-
saying it so fast? He never said to anybody, get to the side of the stadium.
No,
he kept
side
running
of
up
the
to people.
stadium.
Side of the stadium. Side of
I
the
think
stadium. Side
idea-
of the stadium.
Well, he's talking to individual ding-dongs as they run by him, right? I can't believe I'm like really defending all the Rock's actions in this movie. But I feel like there's parts of this that are like semi-realistic where
No,
like
it is though. Like a
these people are
firefighter would come
sprinting
out.
past you, right?
Yeah.
Side of the
Or-
stadium. Side of the stadium. That's how you would have to do it.
But
Side of the stadium.
I would be that person going inside the
Inside,
stadium.
how do I
Didn't
get
say
in the
inside?
stadium? It's locked.
Like,
Should I go in there? Does that make
Side of the
sense?
stadium.
Side of
do
the
we
stadium.
should we just go over the turnstiles to get in?
And at the same time, so the kids are
The kids.
during their quake. Ben gets a huge piece of glass, like in his thigh,
It's
like in
This
his
doesn't
leg.
make
crazy
any
big.
sense.
It's a
But-
giant piece.
Okay, it's about the size of a card from
Yeah.
a card deck.
Yeah.
It's not heavy enough. My problem with it is that
To
it
smash.
falls
I
on
don't
him.
know. Yeah, I feel like it would just kind of hit off you, right? Like
Right?
cut you a
They
little bit.
did,
Well,
like-
he had pants on too. Like, would it go through the pants?
Well,
Is that
it
what
was like
It doesn't
accurate to how
really-
thick skyscraper windows are.
Yes.
You know,
Very
it's like
thick.
heavy.
an inch and a half. It's like an inch of glass.
No,
It's so
it was like
thick.
it was like a quarter inch, but
No, it
Sure.
was super. When
Was
she
it?
goes to
Okay.
pull it out,
I don't know. It
it's
just grosses
super
me out
thick.
thinking about it.
Is it?
It's
Okay.
it's like it's so big that I was like,
That
how
would
did it
make
get in
sense.
there? It was like
well,
the
it's gotta have a
rebar.
sharp edge. It must have a sharp edge on it,
I
right?
guess.
You got the
I
bad
I mean, I
end
guess
of
it could
Yeah.
happen. But so he gets hurt. Side of the stadium happens.
Side of
This
the
is
stadium.
when after the side of stadium.
Side of the
I'm
stadium.
saying it weird now.
No, that's how he says it. Side of the stadium.
All
Yeah,
the people
side
are
of
like,
the is one word. Side of the.
Side of the.
all of the
Side of
people are saying, "How did you know we'd be safe here?" And this is when he's talking to his ex-wife, and it's like she has a GoPro on, looking at him.
Oh, that's
It's
right.
that angle,
Yeah.
and he's like, "Well," and he's looking down, giving her like a talking.
It was
to.
like a normal camera shot of like anytime it would show her face and then would show his face, it was like POV.
But she's also like kind of shot in a way where she's like, "Lord, is that you, God?"
That
she's
is
kind of
it.
like-
It's so weird.
And I get it, like they're trying to show that she's like in shock, right? Because something like
Right.
falls over them, and they
Oh,
yeah,
barely
like
man,
all the
I wish
lights
we had a
and,
picture
and
of it,
crap,
though.
all
like,
that
fall
crap.
over.
Yeah, but then he is kind of like benevolent.
He's like over doing a weird.
"It's me,
Oh my gosh.
your ex-husband."
I love how we've gotten this far and there's 3 stories going on and one of them we haven't even touched on this
know.
whole
Hey,
time.
did
Which
you ever
one's
show
that?
them?
Did I
The
forget?
British.
I will
peeps?
remind you right now.
Oh,
I'm
we
gonna
go through
sh-
that quick though. There's
There you
very
go.
little.
Yeah.
Oh, I
look
forgot
at how
about
mad
these guys.
he is.
That's right.
you forgot about them.
I
Exactly.
They're
completely
coming up, they're
forgot
coming
about
up.
them.
So
But
before
they
that
don't do
happens, though,
anything.
they don't do much. They just keep like getting mad that people won't.
They're just trying
Yeah.
to say there's an earthquake coming.
But the other
Yeah.
thing is they're like, get out. But at the same time, he's like, people on the East Coast will feel this. Well, where do you want me to go then?
And there's the
I
whole
don't-
like
Coast. Drive
Caltech.
to
This
the
is
East
this is
Coast.
Caltech.
Yes. Yeah, it
This
is
is
a lot like
Caltech.
Caltech.
Yeah.
Hey, bitch, it's Caltech. Okay, so that's when they look up, though, after the side of the stadium.
Side of the stadium.
They look up, they realize they can't walk to where they're going to meet their daughter. And so they go, we got to go around, guys. And they get a boat. Ben, do you want to describe
This
the
movie
boat?
just keeps going.
Oh man, the boat was a rib, a rigid hull inflatable boat.
Okay, so we're not talking
Is that a
about.
thing?
Yeah, it's like
We're not
classic
talking
the
about a
Navy
sturdy
SEAL
thing.
style
Yeah,
boat,
yeah.
rigid hull inflatable boat.
Okay.
I only know the they're called ribs because I've read so many Clive Cussler books.
Ah, gotcha.
So when
Matthew
they're in the
McConaughey
boat.
books.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. They
The
see that
Oregon
all the
Files.
water is getting sucked out, which means tsunami.
Tsunami, baby.
Can I just time out for a second? The most recent
my God.
Oregon
Are we
Files
gonna
book,
sidebar
they were
this
in a
8 times?
giant hovercraft that used to be used as a ferry across the English Channel, and they were
course.
in the Australian, like in a swamp in Australia, in this giant hovercraft, and it had
How did it
a
get
couple.
there?
It had a couple of like.
It went around the world?
It had a couple of like picture like a moving
Just gonna
truck
go past
full of TNT. And they were being chased by smaller hovercraft, so they would arm the TNT and then they would push them out the back, and they would blow up like depth charges.
Wait, they're pushing trucks out like
Yeah.
left and right? Like
To
they
blow
don't
up the
need those
chasing
trucks?
hovercrafts. Well,
Sure.
the last hovercraft got smart and went around the side of the big hovercraft. So what they
After
did,
all the other ones died,
they,
they finally
like,
figured out we don't
they
follow
s-
the boat directly behind it.
they spun the hovercraft so that the truck shot out like a slingshot out the back, and
Oh
it
my
hit
God.
the other one and blew up.
I'm glad I
No.
didn't watch that movie or read
Jeez,
that
Gosh, those
book.
books are so good. There was another one
sounds-
where they were fighting down a river raft ride at a water park with machine
Wait a minute,
guns.
you told me that hovercraft was enormous. So you're telling me that they spun this Australian English UK channel crossing thing so
That's what I'm
fast
telling
Can you imagine so
that
fast
it was
that
able
a truck,
to it was able to
truck flies
propel
out?
a 3-ton truck full of dynamite.
Can you
Who knows
imagine
how
how
much
fast
dynamite?
you would have to be?
Right. Like, did they exactly? No, Emily, you're right. Did they do like 80 revolutions to get it?
And then it finally
And then cut the cable,
like-
right? Like eyes are coming out of their head.
I did
Anyway,
like how
sorry.
they
Ben ignores it.
they have this secret stealth submarine that launches from their disguised cargo ship. That's actually a super high tech ship that has a bunch of secret
Sure, of
weapons and
course.
stuff in it.
Of course it
Yeah,
does.
those are
And-
everywhere.
They got tricked and they completely tranquilized the crew of a ship that was supposedly carrying like poisonous like bioweapons, and they
Yeah,
took the
how
whole
you do
ship,
it.
tranquilized the crew, and then found out that they had the wrong ship.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Oh my
I like
gosh.
that. I like that actually.
Did they just leave them?
Yeah.
Whatever. This isn't the Oregon Files
Okay.
podcast, so
Okay, the water's getting sucked out. There's a tsunami. So they're in that little boat, and they're like, "Well, we gotta get over the wave before it gets too big."
This was a little much.
So they're like driving towards the wave like as fast as they can.
Yeah, this is the part that
What
you're
I
like,
thought was more crazy. Okay, if The Rock knows to do that, sure. There's like
Everybody,
20
every
other-
boat in the
apparently
harbor.
everyone
Every
knows
boat in
what
the
you do
harbor.
in a tsunami.
There's
Even like
100
big
boats
boats, they're all
going at this.
like as fast as they. I don't really
And
like
for some
we're
reason, the Rocks boat
zooming
like,
past.
fucking zipping through
Just
them.
You had
like-
a 300 horse on a rib, man. That
It did
thing's
show
flying.
how many horsepower it had
I
on
know.
the engine. Actually, I noticed that too.
when they're just like cresting the wave, like a container ship comes barreling like over
It's
at
gonna-
them.
So then he goes parallel to the
Yeah.
length of the wave for a minute, despite the fact that we were just trying to get over the crest. I was like, wait a minute, weren't we just about to
Wasn't it
die?
just straight up and down?
I don't. Yeah, and there were boats like flipping backwards behind them because
Yeah,
they were
some
going
of them
so
just-
far up.
They're going up this wave, and the boats just go. Like they just catch wind like it had a sail.
That how quick you got it perfect. They're like going, and then poof.
Well, because they pass the guy, right? There's one guy in
Yeah.
the foreground, and they kind of come up beside him, and he, like he just again
It's just-
disappears.
Like this is a crazy situation, but they're like they're constantly grounding it in normalcy because it's like
Yeah.
a menagerie of boats.
It is
There's
so weird,
like
yeah.
it is the boats you would see. It's some dudes
Yes.
like
I just
Yes.
can't believe
yacht, 20
not-
or 30-foot yacht. It's some dudes like big boat. It's like
Fishing
a
boat.
it's like a
Yeah.
fishing
a-
boat, yeah. But not one of those boats thought to go the other way. Every single one of them said we got to get over
guess
this
that's-
wave. Is
I
that
guess
like
if you're
boat 101?
Californian-
It's when you buy your ocean-going boat.
They say if a
this
tsunami
is
happens.
coming.
Go right
yeah,
at it.
Okay.
Exactly.
I mean,
Don't
that's
you
what-
remember the? Yeah.
Did you
Don't
not
remember.
watch Poseidon?
well,
And that
I,
was just a rogue wave.
I feel
The
like
first thing they did, pivot,
That's
baby.
true.
They couldn't
Pivot,
do it in
pivot.
time.
I
Yeah.
feel like now if we ever get in a disaster real life situation, maybe we'll know what to do in some situations.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
This is like we're just doing research. Essentially.
Same thing as a tornado. Just you drive right at it. That's how you defeat it.
But this, like the
Defeat.
the cargo ship
Yep.
coming in with the
If you hit
tsunami.
the core, the tornado goes away.
It disperses.
It just goes up into the sky.
That cargo ship taking out the Golden Gate Bridge, though.
Yeah, so the cargo ship, and I think it flips. All
And
the
there is-
containers are falling, and this
Yeah,
is
it
when you
does.
see Daniel, the boyfriend, again. He's on the
Why
bridge.
is he on the bridge?
I don't know. He's on
Oh,
the
yeah,
bridge.
he
and a
finally
container
dies.
totally just he
Just-
poofs. Poof. Like
Again.
yeah.
Like nothing
There's
left.
nothing left.
Right, he's in another
Just-
He's
dimension.
gone.
Yeah. Just
Right, he got sent to another plane.
So because Blake took
That's
the,
actually how he turned into Mr.
that's
Fantastic.
how he became.
yeah. How he wound up in the negative zone. Just bang. Whoa! I can stretch now.
Right, that's the point at which he turned into John Krasinski.
There you go. Yeah.
He switched.
Spoilers, I guess.
Um,
or whatever.
Blake grabbed a firefighter radio thing to hear the
Because
news
every
and
city
stuff.
has an emergency channel that you can tune into.
Well, she knows all this. Anyway, she hears on
That's
it that
true.
there's gonna be a wave, a tsunami and stuff. So they get to the tallest building, which Daniel, the boyfriend, used to own before he got
Is it
smushed
the tallest
into.
building, or did Daniel
going
convince her
to
that it is
be.
Well,
tsunami proof?
it was going to be. He never said
It's
tsunami proof.
being
He,
built.
he did.
Did
He
he?
said it's going to be the most durable, or he said something
yeah, he
like,
does.
Does he?
He
Okay.
kind of talks it up.
But I think it's
turns out
just that
not
it's
to
like
be.
a tall building that's left, and they're like a block away.
"There's a building right next to it that's taller."
I don't.
Yeah,
know.
there is, and it falls on it.
Well,
Falls
sounds like it's
into it.
not as.
And that building is so
stable.
strong. Not only does it stay
It's-
up, it
it's
holds up.
Daniel's building.
Multiple.
Daniel's building.
Daniel's building. So they head for the building though. So they try to get up as many floors as they can. Remember, engineer British Ben has they ripped a piece of
Ben
glass
the
out of his
Eng.
leg. So
Kind of like
he's
Bob the Builder,
yeah.
Ben the Eng.
They get to whatever floor they're at. Look out the window, and she goes, "Shit, we're not high enough." And the wave just takes them out.
Yeah.
So-
Boom!
So then they like go up a couple floors, get out of the water. They're not too badly done or whatever. She goes to check his like leg, and
Again, they totally don't do the like soaking wet T-shirt contest.
no,
She is wet, but it's not.
She didn't
That's
have
not
a
what
white
it's about.
tank top on, is what you're saying.
no,
Yeah,
but
right?
Also,
Like-
like you saw her in a bikini earlier, so like she hasn't gotten back to that point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like But they flirt and kiss, and you're like,
She's
oh
got
my
not
god,
not
they're
the
a
time
thing.
to kiss. I don't think. Actually.
No, it felt a little forced.
Yeah.
He was like, "Wow, you're gorgeous." Like it was all of a sudden that, and you're like, "What? We're in a very weird situation to be."
No, he says something. He says something much
he
more.
says like she's brilliant or smart or like
Yeah,
it's
he
something
basically
about
compliments the way she's
Yeah.
basically saved his life countless
It's
times now in a
still-
row.
Right.
It's
But then-
still strange.
But you
though.
didn't need the kiss. You could have just sort
Yeah.
of like, hey, thanks for,
Right.
absolutely taking control of this entire situation while I limp along beside you.
Sort of like
Yeah,
Ben
right.
and Ray.
But which one's which?
Yeah. But then, okay, so the little brother is like trying to get fresh water, so he's getting a bunch of water bottles.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And he's like, "Hey, there's a boat outside. There's people in a boat. Do we want to guess who's in the boat?"
Yeah.
Come on. Great.
Couldn't be better.
Great position. So
Yeah.
it's mom and dad. She sees that. They're banging on the window, but she's like, they don't hear us. And then I think at the beginning, the kid had like a laser
Kid was
pointer or
sticking
some
around with a
shit.
laser. Yeah.
And so they use that to like flash it on the boat. So they turn around, look, and they see the kids.
Was he dicking around with a laser
He was
pointer?
earlier.
I don't
I
think
just
he
remember-
was. I don't think
remember
he
he had it
was.
for
I
like a
never
second.
saw it.
I do
I
remember
think
it.
they cut that scene and they forgot
You
to
know
put
what?
it back in.
I
when
think
it
it's just in
became-
Radio Shack. It's like he
Oh, maybe that was
is like
it.
playing with one or something.
Oh,
You're right.
Like, I doubt it's Radio Shack. But okay.
Also, points for unlimited amount of garbage in the tsunami
Oh,
water.
Yeah.
Like the boat is just
It
going
is.
through garbage.
It's
just
straight up
stuff.
garbage
Right.
everywhere.
I
Which is
like
so
that.
true.
all the scenes outside, the water is. I feel like is how it would be, and every time
Just
water rushes into the
trash.
building, it's perfectly clean. But
Yeah.
nobody
wouldn't
wants to
quite-
swim around in garbage water.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
when they see the kids, I don't know, like, does another wave come? Something happens where the
Something
windows
happens.
break open
Is
and, like,
this where the
really
building
rushes them in.
falls?
The building is
Oh, is that what
falling down.
happened?
Right.
Okay.
It's sinking.
Daniel was not right. His building was not very
Fuck
resistant to
Daniel.
tsunamis.
But
Yeah.
anyway, so the windows, like, burst in on them and they all get blasted underwater and whatnot. Right
Oh,
when they
yeah,
found the kids.
yeah.
Oh, this is it. Gets
Um,
now it's getting.
This is
scary.
where it gets tense.
So now it gets
Yeah.
crazy. So Ben and Ollie, like Ben saves Ollie and he brings him up a floor and he's like, I'm going to go back down for Blake. And then more water starts like rushing in. So I think he's trying to, you don't know. The Rock
Ollie-
goes in for his daughter though. Yeah.
Ollie also gives Ben a look like, are you sure? You kind of just met her today. Like, I'm your brother. Like, there's sort of there's a slight pause where it's like, I don't know, man, maybe we should just go upstairs.
Maybe
We
but
should-
also Ollie is like we said 14. I don't
Yeah.
know. And they're always like hop on my back.
Yeah.
I don't know. Can you not swim on it? What?
Yeah.
He
It's the
doesn't
same
have
thing
the
as the
hurt
girl
leg.
in the beginning on the
Yeah.
dam. Like,
Yeah.
run, swim.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
And it's not saying like, hey, you have to go in some weird like when it was Poseidon and it's like go in
No.
and out of a maze.
like,
it is
going
just like
upstairs.
legit swim and go. And he's like, hop on my back. You just had a piece of glass pulled out of your leg.
yeah.
And
Get on Ollie's back.
what?
That kid can swim.
And so that was weird. But in the meantime, the Rock goes in. He sees the daughter, but she's stuck in like a
This is
Like an
classic.
office, a room,
somehow
some
she's
glass.
in a coffin.
yeah. And but that is when a bunch of junk piled up on the door. And it's
Yes.
like tables and shit,
Just
so
like
she can't
Poseidon.
get out.
Yeah.
So-
Somehow the
Classic
kid's
Poseidon.
on the other
Yeah.
side of a barrier.
So they're doing
Yeah.
the classic, like, oh my God, help me, the water's rising. And he can't get it, she can't get it. At one point, she kind of does this, like, hey, tell mom I love her. They go down and she does the, like, she essentially drowns. She's like
Oh
dead
yeah.
in the
You
water.
see her like.
Yeah,
She
she
takes the breath of water.
takes multiple, she's
you
dead.
see it. It's pretty
And-
intense.
And that's when The Rock is pissed. So he, once again,
goes-
gets superhuman strength.
Yeah.
And he rips that crap out of the doorway. He grabs her, brings her upstairs
God,
to
this
where...
felt like 5 minutes where she's
I want to be like, she's
dead.
brain... Like, we got a problem
Yeah,
with the...
right.
Yeah,
She
like,
might
there's
be
no
alive, but-
oxygen, but...
Yeah.
She's not gonna wake up okay.
She's not going to be okay.
I actually found this like this was really intense.
This
like
was intense.
I was
I-
not sure.
I thought she
You know,
was
you
legit
see
dead.
her
Dead.
die.
She is dead
Long
multiple
time.
real,
times.
and you just feel so bad for him
Well,
because his
again,
other daughter
his daughter
Yes.
drowned too
drowned.
right in front of him.
Yeah.
This one literally drowns in front of his eyes.
Like,
right?
yeah, he's watching
Again.
the whole time.
After
Yeah.
he promised
It's
that he
intense.
would save her.
So
Yeah.
he's doing CPR. And this is when Ben is trying to break open the glass so then they can get her out and
Yeah.
like get out of the building. And the mom sees it. He's trying to break glass and she's like, I got it. And she takes the boat, turns it around. She's like, move away. And she smashes into the building, which I don't know if that would break
It
the
would
glass.
not work.
Wouldn't you
I
just
feel like he had a
bounce
better
off?
chance.
I can't imagine it would.
Hitting it with that pipe is a lot better than running in it with an inflatable boat.
Also, wouldn't the boat just hit and she would just fly off
The boat
into the
would-
window? It would just be
Wouldn't
her.
it
Yeah,
just
she would've
bounced
just-
off?
She would've
would've
just
flew off the boat.
like
and,
flew off,
like,
hit the glass, and like
dead on
died
the
right
glass. Yeah. Yeah.
there. She somehow breaks through. They load everyone in the boat, and instead of
Don't
her,
forget, guys.
Oh,
yeah, I'm sorry,
honestly,
did I miss
it
this?
doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't
It's
matter.
irrelevant.
They
The
tell
fact we're
everyone to
so
watch
far
out.
past
Yeah.
that storyline.
But
It
instead
doesn't
of the
matter.
mom backing out of the building, she like goes around the
She
horn.
goes through
She
the
like
whole
takes
damn
the
thing.
yeah,
Like,
and the building's like collapsing over them. They get
She
out
could
in
have just
time.
backed up.
I don't
well,
like
you
5
already
feet.
blew open the wall. Just
go-
turn the boat around.
like-
and
I don't know. They do CPR for
Excuse me.
another good 4 minutes. I don't like. She's
I
dead.
thought she wasn't coming back.
I
thought
thought
she
they
was
did
dead.
it. I thought they killed her off.
which
And then
would have been an interesting choice, but
I know I was like, seriously, are they doing
I
this?
was not expecting them to kill
So
her.
everyone was super sad. The Rock had stopped CPR, and then
Yeah.
he's like, you know what? F it. And he tries a little bit more, and she wakes up.
She wakes up.
Now
but-
I'm gonna say right now she'd have some brain issues, right?
Yes,
Like
certainly.
right. I've
She
like,
was underwater for a good minute or two. CPR
was-
for like it was so long.
It was at least like 5.5 minutes from the point
Right.
she.
and
Yeah.
what? Max's heart was only stopped for like a minute and a half. She's in a coma.
Yeah.
You are so. I was like, who are you talking about?
me a
Anyway,
minute,
she
but yeah.
lives. Yeah, I know. She survives, and then the next time we see them, they're like up by the Red Cross, like on a mountain. They're looking out at like
Oh, that's right.
Chipville, and they're all cozy. Clearly, Blake and Ben are like dating at this point. I don't know. They're like kissing
We'll
and
see.
cuddling and shit. What for?
The Rock
In San
approved.
Andreas too.
Yeah, I was kidding. Is there a number 2?
I hope so.
And mom and dad are back together, which you can tell.
Baywatch is actually the sequel
Is number
to this
2.
movie.
Mom
Yeah,
Oh,
he
man.
switched to
Dad
being a
and-
lifeguard.
Dad and daughter job.
Hopefully,
And that's it. That's the end.
that's it.
Yeah, I love how it just ended. I didn't
Well,
want any
it was-
wrap up. I don't want to know
Yeah, I
how they
didn't need-
recover.
It was essentially we got our daughter back. That's it.
I
Well,
loved how the natural
That was it.
disaster was the setting. It wasn't the
Right.
plot.
Yes.
It's not the movie,
Yeah.
right?
I did
yeah.
like that.
2012
Never once
could
were
learn
they
a
driving
lesson.
and like the road was falling out under them.
Even
liked
even
that.
Poseidon did a pretty good job of like, okay, this disaster is the setting.
Yeah.
Here are the characters. Here, you know,
You just didn't
Right.
like those
I
characters.
think, yeah, and it had some insane elements, but I this movie was fine. I wouldn't watch it again, or
I
didn't
think the
see
best
it in theaters.
the best compliment I have for it is it's a 2-hour movie and it did not feel like 2 hours at all.
No, it
No,
went by quick.
moves quick.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was like,
Characters
oh,
are
that was a
likable.
90-minute movie. And I looked at the time and I was like, 2 hours? Really? No way.
Yeah. It went
Yeah.
by really quick because it kept you going and it wasn't like slow or anything. It was good.
No.
I was pleasantly surprised to
Yep.
wrap up our summer of disaster movies.
And
This
I was
For
dreading
summer,
it
we
because
had
we.
2.
I feel like we've done a lot of
I guess
disaster
3 with
movies.
Poseidon.
And-
Right. I'm glad that we ended on this one and not on like 2012 or something.
Oh,
Yeah, we did
God.
2012
Yeah, we've kind of
Poseidon and then
climbed
this.
up.
Yeah.
And I would
Yeah.
rank them in that order, right?
All right.
Yeah,
San
I would
Andreas
too.
is best,
Yep.
Poseidon, and then 2012. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Would you recommend anybody else go and seek this out and watch it?
I think if it happens to be on TV, sure.
Sure.
I wouldn't necessarily go rent it, but also if someone's like, "Hey, I'm watching this," I'd be like, "Yeah, it's
And if
a
you're
fun watch."
if you're a fan of The Rock, or I don't even want to
Or
call
hot
it.
teens. I'm just kidding.
Oh.
I know it's so.
If somebody told me
Hot
if they were like, oh, you know what
29-year-olds?
movie I really
There,
like?
sure,
San
okay.
Andreas. I'd be like, okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I get that.
I'm not
Yeah.
going to argue with you on
Yeah,
that.
there's nothing wrong with that.
If somebody was like, I love 2012, I'd
I'd
be
go,
like,
Get out of the
Ooh,
house.
explain
Like,
yourself.
Yes.
First of all, explain yourself on your
What
way
the
out.
hell?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
okay.
What was hold on. What was the storyline with Paul Giamatti? Real quick. Hammer it out. He predicted a quake. He predicted a second quake. He stared
warned
ominously
everyone.
into the camera and said, "Buckle
They
your
ha-
asses down."
Well, they hacked CNN.
That's
yeah, they
right,
like
they did.
They like get.
Well, but
they
what's
got a
funny
kid-
is they said they were going to hack it, and then they were introduced by the host.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
like,
I didn't
"Here they are."
understand that.
We've got them right here.
I
Let's
thought they
cut
were
to
gonna
'em.
like. I think the idea
Like,
was
cut
because
out the news
they had
and-
the correspondent with them, and she was like, "Hey, I'm hacking your system. It's me, Lisa McDonald from
Yeah.
CNN.
Whatever.
You want to patch us through real quick?" But yeah, I thought it was gonna cut in. It's me, Paul Giamatti.
You need to run to the hills.
Right.
Him trying
Go to
to
New
yell?
York. Right.
You got to
now.
find high ground.
That is what he was. Oh my god! But then I think it was essentially him and the
That was it, though.
reporter were kind of
Yeah.
getting cozy, but that was about it. She was like, "You did great," and like that was at the end. You're like,
Oh, really?
Right when they're
I
like
didn't notice
hiding
that.
under a desk
When
and
they're
they're
at
like
the-
looking into
she-
each other's eyes.
Yeah, but she at one point like puts her hand and she's like, "But you warned everyone," and
saved
stuff
everybody.
stuff like that.
It was you.
Huh.
But that was about it with him.
Yeah.
He did
that's the
lose
whole-
his friend, his research partner.
Yeah, and
He's
the
he
rebar
like
guy.
6 feet away from him, watched him get
Rebar
like
boy.
taken out,
Yeah.
but he saved that girl.
Probably one of the better D-list movies we've seen.
Oh yeah.
For
Top
sure.
3?
I guess you can't go wrong with The Rock, even if he's
Yeah.
playing The Rock.
Well, you know, we need
He's
to test
playing
that
The
theory. We need to test that theory with one of the Fast and Furious movies, which
Oh,
I understand they do not qualify for the D-list criteria
That's
because
true.
they
They
make
do make
$1
money.
billion.
I'm so.
But I don't.
Do you have to watch all of them though to know?
Yeah,
I
you
want to
do.
watch
Right?
like 9 without having seen anything else.
I could do
Not
that.
9 movies. I want to watch
No,
the
number
9th
Whatever the
movie.
last one was, we should
I
just
could
Yeah.
do
watch
that, but I feel
Just
like you're
watch it. That's the whole point, though. I want to see if it makes any sense at all,
Oh my god!
Let's do
probably
having
that.
never seen any of it.
I've never obviously I've maybe not obviously, but
Obviously.
I've seen Fast and Furious 1, 2, and 3.
As a man who graduated college between 2002
Is he a-
between 2003 and 2008, obviously I have seen Fast and Furious 1.
Right. I needed a rice rocket. I wanted to
It
go
was
buy a
basically
Mitsubishi Lancer and
required-
soup it up.
Oh my
You
god!
couldn't get your driver's license unless you watched it. You had to prove your
You
ticket
Right.
stub.
pass the.
I want to soup up a 4-cylinder until it's about to explode and just like peel around in an all-wheel
God.
drive.
I think I saw number 1.
I think I saw.
Did you see Too Fast, Too Furious with
is it
shoot, who's
Tay
the guy?
Diggs?
Yeah.
Is that who that is?
I don't
What
know
about
if I
and then
did.
Tokyo Drift is where it's this.
I did not
a
see
different-
that. I
No,
know
that's
that.
where it hit the
From
the
3 and
skids.
out, I did not see.
Yeah.
Maybe I saw 2 or part of it.
I don't think you need to
I-
watch 3 because at 4 is where what I would consider
It's
the.
a whole new reboot.
I haven't
basically.
seen 4 after, and that's where The Rock shows up. That's when he took
Okay.
over. I
No,
think.
he's not in the 4th one, is he?
I think he's in from 4 on.
No
no idea.
way.
It essentially didn't it become the Rock Vin Diesel show?
I think
No,
so.
but The Rock joined in like the 7th movie. Because
I
it
don't
was
know about
Paul
that.
Walker, Vin Diesel, and some random third guy, I think. You're forgetting about Paul
Wow,
Walker.
Paul Walker was still okay.
Yeah.
He was in
He's
him
the-
for a while.
He's the one who kept
the
it
Rock
together.
is not in 4.
No.
Oh, really?
I'm going to say
No.
7. He showed up
I've never
in
seen
7.
4.
He's in 5.
What? Wow. All right. Okay.
We're gonna watch 9. 9
We
Fast,
should make,
9
let's
Furious.
make a, what you need to do is make a
Are there 9?
Fast and Furious 4 through whatever the newest one is, and either make a spin wheel or just throw a dart at it.
Oh my god.
And that's what we're
That's
watching.
That's
true.
what we gotta watch.
But wait, The Rock isn't in number 9.
Oh, then
No,
we
he
can't
got
watch
kicked
9.
out. Yeah, he got
Why
kicked
did he
Really?
get kicked out?
out. Yeah, because Vin Diesel's such a big, famous superstar.
Oh,
He can't
God.
share
I
the
can't
screen.
handle the
The
Rock.
Rock's in 8.
And then there was a
Okay.
spin-off with Jason Statham and The Rock.
Oh my.
Oh my gosh, maybe we should just watch that.
This is getting. Yeah, what's that?
But
Okay,
what's the
sorry.
point? I wanna dive face first into Fast and Furious
I
and
don't-
just not know what's
I
happening.
feel like I would be so. Yeah, I would have no idea what's happening.
Oh,
I'm just
I would-
curious what that feel. You know what the problem is, though? I bet those movies are like almost 3 hours long now.
Oh god.
You know, they're not short.
Yeah. They're probably super long, and they're all just like inside jokes from the first
Right.
8.
Well,
And
that's what I'm saying. If it were, if it was 90 minutes, okay, I can
Yeah.
stomach that. But if it's going to be 2.5 or more hours of references and
Yeah.
you know, like
That's
if you
what it
watched
will
a
be.
Marvel movie now, it would be like, this is.
Yeah.
I don't know what this is.
It-
That's very true.
we should watch the first one they made after Paul Walker died, where they had his brother play him, and then they sort of like face swapped.
Wait, they seriously
Didn't he?
did
No,
that?
he died mid filming, didn't he?
Of one of
That's
them.
why they had to use the brother
Yeah.
to end
But
his
they-
storyline.
Oh my.
Yeah,
That seems problematic.
it's the brother with Paul Walker's
Ugh.
face,
That's
not literally.
Like Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh,
No,
come
it's
on!
not literally.
Everybody knew what I. They got the joke, and it was in poor taste. You don't have to
I'm sorry.
Ben's cover.
leather
sorry.
face reference.
Oh my
That's
god.
inappropriate.
No, I shouldn't. I was the
Let's
one
wrap
who-
it up there. You know, guys, thanks for tuning in. This was another fantastic date night D-list episode. Tune in next time for a regular podcast episode. And in a few weeks, we'll do another D-list movie review. Maybe it'll be Fast and Furious. Maybe it won't. We'll see.
Sorry.
See you later.
Yawning. Bye.
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 Bye-bye.
Bye.